The Zenistar used to be a powerful weapon for killing enemies with its status proccing disc alone. It is not very good at that specific thing anymore, but in this video I'm going to show you a few things that it is still or newly good at. But I need to say something before I show you the build you're seeing in action, so I promise we will get to it within a minute. I'll make this quick. A lot of people will click on this video but not watch it and head to the comments section to try to convince other people that the Zenistar is irredeemable garbage and that nobody should even try to enjoy it anymore. I am making this video because of those people are upset that a weapon they enjoyed seems bad to them. To be blunt, yes, it's frustrating to me when I or anyone else takes the time to carefully explain and demonstrate something, and then someone ignores all of that and bashes things without providing any reasoning, but I know that people are doing that partially because they are genuinely frustrated. I don't think they really have much to be frustrated about, but they clearly don't feel that way, and I make these videos to offer a different perspective that might be more fun, not least of which to benefit those same people. I like actual critique, criticize away, but please recognize when someone only cares about telling other people not to try to have fun. Nobody is somehow aware of every possible build in existence. I'm showing a build and showing that it works, so if some other person baselessly says it's worthless, I want you to keep that in mind. Consider this rule of thumb. If someone had good reasoning behind their claim, they would have included that reasoning. I was not born yesterday, and I know that comments are almost always somewhat toxic, but I'm an influencer. My job is to influence. This is me doing that. I'd like to thank you very much for your patience. Now behold, this weird-looking heavy slam condition overload build. If you aren't familiar with melee 3.0 condition overload, I have a short video summarizing that linked below. Building up combo for a longer lasting disc, using that disc to control an area and set up condition overload, and then heavy slamming down into that area, this build takes advantage of what the Zenistar is still good at. You all saw how that works in a simple mission at the beginning of the video, and I'm going to go through it step by step here. Melee 3.0 has changed the Zenistar's disc in a few ways. It doesn't have a set duration after you send it out with a heavy attack, and it instead starts at 10 seconds of duration, down from 45. The disc now stays out longer based on how much combo you spend into that heavy attack, up to 2 minutes with maxed out combo. Heavy attacking will send the disc out and call it back, and if you call it back that way you do have to spend combo because it's a heavy attack, but letting the disc expire naturally doesn't cost combo, and heavy slams don't send the disc out or call it back. This approach is built around that. With maybe a little combo to start you off, the idea is to use the Zenistar's disc for something it is still quite good at. So in this case, that would be controlling an area. We're going to build up a little bit of initial combo, just spin into them a couple of times. So this will quickly give me a disc that lasts a usable amount of time, so we'll send it out. And we're going to get about a minute, not bad, so that was pretty quick. And now these enemies will marinate in this damage, and we will be able to build up more combo, and keep the disc out and do heavy slams to kill off the enemies that are still alive inside of the disc's area, while remaining totally safe because the disc is crowd controlling them. And we're also able to keep building up combo. Again, if we don't use a normal standing heavy attack, the disc won't come back. So we can keep building up combo and do heavy slams and the disc can still be there ticking away. You can do those heavy slams very frequently without reducing your combo much because of focus energy and Zeneric's inner might passive for a total of 90% combo efficiency. As you can see, even though it's 60 and 40%, combo efficiency caps at 100%. So when you do a heavy attack, you save 90% of your combo, and heavy attacking also resets your combo duration. So if you're going to time out and lose it all, you just do a heavy attack and you lose only 10% of your combo instead, and buy yourself another 15 seconds. This is our combo duration. So yeah, the result of that is less damage than both initial combo heavy attack builds and heavy combo efficiency builds, both of which I've made videos about if you'd like to look at them in the description. But the real thing you get is that crowd control. You get the ability to control an area. That's the valuable thing that this build gains. It's not really about doing the damage with the weapon, and for that matter, the Zenistar was never really powerful for its weapon. It was powerful for the disc, and it's just that the disc is now not good for damage. It's good for controlling an area. But it's still pretty good at that. Unfortunately, it's smaller. Besides the fact that heavy attack stuff doesn't affect the disc, I really don't like the idea that it's smaller. I think that specifically was kind of a bad balancing choice. But it is still affected by primed reach, and we get another multiplier for our heavy slams from Seismic Wave. Seismic Wave is really something we need in this build because unfortunately we also don't really have a lot of use out of critical chance, which is what's powering a lot of heavy attack focused builds. Either that or something like Blood Rush. You could try to make a version of this build that leveraged crits. I really don't think the damage is there, but you can give it a try. Still, you can often afford to kill enemies more slowly when they mostly can't move. So use this to lock down an interception point or reinforce a defense objective, and when you're done taking care of far away enemies using your melee weapon or whatever other weapon, you can slam back in and clean up anything that got stuck in your condition overloady Zenistar disc aura. Focus on the crowd controlling effects of the disc and don't reach for the Zenistar when you want a high damage dealing melee weapon. For that matter, there are plenty of melee weapons in Melee 3.0 that do plenty of damage. Quickly, another approach that I wasn't particularly impressed by, but which I thought you might like to hear me talk about, is Corrupt Charge. So the idea here is to return the disc to something more similar to its former state, where you could just send it out and not use the melee weapon itself, which is I know what some people who previously liked the Zenistar wanted to do. They don't just want to use the weapon and use the disc, they want to only use the disc, and I understand that. So the idea is to use Corrupt Charge, get some more initial combo, and then you can just send out the disc and not have to actually swing the weapon. Now keep in mind that Corrupt Charge only gives you 10 more seconds. You only end up with a 20-second duration, and the damage isn't very good anymore either way. Corrupt Charge does not change that. The only real payoff from the disc is locking down an area, which you almost never have to do for only 20 seconds at a time. I don't want to suggest that initial combo is a bad idea here though, it's clever, and especially future initial combo sources, or maybe other ways to get combo besides melee attacking, and there are a few, might end up being powerful with the Zenistar. Finally, to get very technical for a minute, one of the ideas in my build was to get more potential status types by using the disc's innate heat damage. When you send out the disc, the Zenistar loses that heat damage, so on this build, the disc has corrosive and blast, but the weapon itself has corrosive and cold, and then, you know, the innate slash. So that is one more potential thing for condition overload, because that blast becomes cold on the Zenistar itself. And there are other combinations you could use. I don't think one is going to be better than corrosive with this particular weapon, but you know, of course, the Zenistar has some slash too. So maybe there is a better way, one way or another, maybe crit, to get more damage out of this sort of build. While this isn't a fantastic build overall, it's certainly very usable, and I hope you find it interesting. I hope you had fun with it.